Hi, this is a quick video about how to set up your Google Classroom. So within Google Classroom, some important housekeeping tips that we need you guys to take care of is first of all, archive your old classes. Any classes that still remain from last school year, we need to make sure that we archive them and not delete them. If you delete them, then all the student work is gone and things that students might think that they have access to down the road, like for senior portfolios, will no longer be available to them. So please do not delete your classes. Make sure that you archive them. In order to do that, you're going to pick a class, click on the three dots up in the upper right-hand corner, and you're going to click archive. You can still access that material later. It just doesn't have to be right there to clear up your dashboard. So that's the first task that we want you guys to do, is to make sure that you archive the class. Do not delete the class. Then once you have those archived and you're ready to add a class or create it, which some of you may have already started, and that's fantastic. Make sure that you use the naming convention that we have used in previous years. If you weren't here previously, I am going to include a link to this document that shows our Google Classroom guidance, and it just gives us steps for how we name them. The reason why we want you guys to name them in this specific way is because it makes it easier for students to see when all courses are named this particular way. And we want to make sure, in order to do that, and there's an example right here built in there, and then I'm going to do it as well, is that we name the course and then we put the block in parentheses afterwards. The section is going to be the teacher name. So for example, if I'm teaching geometry 1B, then I'm going to put Venjon down here. You can go ahead and put your specific there if you want, and then, your specific subject there if you want, and then your room number. But this is the most important thing. Making sure that your class name is named in a consistent manner helps improve communication with students and parents. So we want to make sure that they're named that way. I would advise you to avoid using a lot of abbreviations because email summaries get sent home to parents. And what is our standard vernacular here at the school with all of our abbreviations and everything? Parents don't necessarily get. So please avoid using those abbreviations in the classroom name for the sake of being able to communicate with parents and students clearly. The section name helps kids to be able to know who their teacher is, again, communicate with parents. And when admin's looking through all the classes that they get added to, it's also helpful for them to be able to zero in on which course they want or need. So I'm going to click create so that I have a new one for this year. And I'm going to ask that you guys go ahead and have all your classes created if you have not already done so, or rename them if necessary. Some things over here in the Google Classwork tab that I want you guys to pay attention to or know how to do. When you go to people, you're going to add your students, and you can type in whatever their name happens to be. So I'm going to use my daughter just because. And I'm going to send her an invite. When you have all of your students invited, you'll have the opportunity to add parents. And we want to make sure that any student that doesn't already have a parent listed there gets a parent email address. And if you see that parents have been invited and haven't accepted it, then we might want to edit that and invite those parents again, check to make sure that the email address is in there appropriately, and so forth. So, and you can't add parents until your students have been accepted, and so you might not have added students yet. So just be aware that that's how you'll go about doing that, is right here on this tab as well. Some class settings. If we come back up here to the gear icon, we talked about how we would name it. Some things that I want to make sure that we look at is in our stream, we don't want students to be able to post and comment. We found out in remote learning that the stream can get very cluttered with a lot of stuff, and so we want to limit that just to teachers that can post and or comment. So you may want to review this Google Classroom guidance to make sure that you have anything else that goes into a little bit more detail with some screenshots and step-by-step of this is how we want stuff to be done. But that was your quick video tutorial on that.